So the next thing we're going to look at is the NHVR portal's search table functionality. So the search table functionality within the NHVR portal allows us to locate individual cases. We can also locate a group of cases, and we can start to perform some basic reporting via the exporting reports or the Excel spreadsheets. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate that all for you now. Once again, entering our training environment of the NHVR portal, I'm just going to select back on the default home screen as a good starting place. Now, search table functionality you'll be able to see in the application tracker, the case tracker, and also the permit library. So you can see how all three of those pages look very, very similar, and it's all due to the search table functionality. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to be performing this functionality under the case tracker. So once again, the case tracker is where you're going to see all of your submitted applications. You can complete filters so that you're only seeing the live active cases, or you can see every single case that was ever submitted via the NHVR portal. Okay. So you can customize your search table. So although the system defaults you to sort of this generic view, you do have the ability to customize it. The same way that you can see here, the system has also set some preset tabs for you in regards to search table functionality. So you can see there everything that's open, everything that's with the customer, everything with the road manager, everything with regulator, anything that's been delegated. So if you are in Queensland and you're submitting your applications via the NHVR portal, which I highly recommend, but we then delegate back to TMR for processing. You can see there all of the cases that have been delegated and all of the cases that are sitting at a finalised status. So you can select a new tab or create a tab of your own. So just selecting towards the right side of the page, the Add Tab button. So this is creating a customized tab for you as the user. So it's going to ask me or prompt me for the tab name. So I might call this tab Reporting. Now you can see below here, each single one of these tick boxes is the option to be a column in your search table. And if it is a column in your search table, you can then apply a filter on it and start to obtain data based on your different requirements. So you can see I've got some sort of generic ones ticked here, but I can look at all of these different options. Vehicle details, I may wish to select laden length, laden width, laden height. Where is it? Laden mass. You've got so many different options here. Forward projection, rear overhang. You've got some route details that you can perform searches on. So roads will allow you to search on a different road. Yeah, you can see all of the different options here. Time with regulator, time with customer, time with road manager, whatever needs be for your reporting. And at the bottom of the page, once you've done selecting or deselecting any of these fields, you can select Apply. So you can see now it has created my new preset tab, Reporting. And I've got my search table to some degree all set up. Now, at any point, if I need to change the fields of any of these preset tabs, you can always go Tab Options, and the very first option here, which is Change Column. So that's going to get me back into the second tab here, which is the column selector. It's going to show me all of those options again. But the column order now lets me further customize this functionality. So this is where I can actually change the order of the columns. I can also remove anything if it's no longer required by utilizing the little trash can option at the end of each row here. So something that's just no longer required. By all means, if I have removed something, I can always come back to the column selector and just reselect it. But as I said before, I can also selecting, dragging and dropping to reorder my columns. So I find the easiest way to do it is by selecting and dragging, as you can see there, but you also have these manual little arrows that is going to do exactly the same job. The last option you have here to even further customize your search table is this width column. Okay, so when you are looking at your search table, if you're finding that a column is just too wide and there's too much blank space, or maybe a column is too narrow and it's actually starting to dot some important information out, you can actually widen your column or shorten it. So if I need it to be wider, I'm going to pick a larger number. If I need to shorten the width of the column, I'm going to pick a shorter number. So that is probably where you're going to get the most trial and error about coming in here, playing around with it, coming down to the bottom, selecting apply, and of course going back in if something doesn't look right. So now I have all of my fields that are correct and what I need to do for my business based on reporting. Also, you can see that I've just got some default filters that have automatically applied to some columns. My recommendation, whenever you're starting to just wanting to have a clean slate, tab options, you can clear all filters. The same way if you're trying to locate one individual case and it's coming up that there's nothing there, I recommend just clear all filters and then have another go at it. Because of course, everything you do here, under the reporting preset tab, it's going to remember exactly what I've set up here columns wise. So clearing all filters is not actually resetting my columns, it's just clearing all of the filters in the top row here. So I can log out now, I can go for a wonderful 6-week holiday, and as soon as I log back in again, it's going to remember and save all of this information until a point where I remove something or change it. So now I'm just going to apply some filters. So maybe for your company, and the example I'm going to use today just with the fake data I know that's set up here, I'm going to search on all of the B-double applications that were submitted in 2018 that are 25 metres long. Okay, so now in order to do that, I just need to start to apply some filters here. So all the B-double applications, and you can select multiple, so I can go B-double or B-double HTML, apply that. That's now showing me all of the B-double applications ever submitted in the portal. I then maybe want to come to my laden length, and I'll put in 25 metres because I only want to see the 25 metre B-doubles. Okay, so at the moment it's showing me all of the B-double or B-double HTMLs that are 25 metres long that have ever been submitted in the NHER portal. I'm then going to come to this submitted date field. So if I'm looking for all of the applications in 2018, or maybe I'm looking for all of the applications that are in March of 2018, I can utilise this submitted field date. So just selecting into this field, it's going to give me a filter type. Now, if you are going to be looking for cases within a year or within a month, you are going to be selecting the between dates option. Now, what that will allow you to do is set a from and to date. So if I was going to do a year, I would go back to January 2018 and select the first day of that year. And then my to date is going to be the last day in 2018. If I apply that, it's going to show me all of the cases that were submitted in 2018. So right now I've got all of the cases that were submitted in 2018 for a B-double or HTML double, for a B-double or HTML B-double that are 25 metres long. Okay, so that's just the example I'm utilising today, but as you can see from all of the different field options, you could get all of the B-doubles that travelled along Banana Road that in 2018. So really you can start to utilise this great data and this great search table functionality to run reports for your business. Once again, totally optional. If you don't need to run any reports, you just you log into the portal, you do what you got to do, that's fine too. This is just once again the option. So now if I do need to show what I've just found here in regards to data, if I need to show that to somebody who doesn't have access to the NHER portal, or maybe I just need to save it external to the NHER portal, which isn't required, by the way. Everything that's in the portal stays in the portal. You can't delete anything. But if I do need to export it, tab options, and you can see there at the bottom of this list, there's export current view. So current view means it's only showing me 1 to 20 of a total of photos. 40. So if I export current view, it's only going to give me the 1 to 20. If I export to CSV all rows, it's going to export all the data I've just found. Okay, so I'm going to select that option, export to CSV. So I'm essentially exporting all of this data into an Excel spreadsheet. I'm just going to confirm here and select export. Now in the portal, depending on how much data you are trying to export, if you're going to export current view, it will happen right away. If you want to export every single case you ever submitted in the NHGR portal, it just might have a buffering time of a minute. Okay, so it's not very long at all. So now what will happen is you'll actually get an email via your Gmail or your Outlook that says, hey, your report is now ready. Okay, now you'll need to return to your left side menu. Under the account option, you'll have your export library. So selecting on the export library, this is where you'll come, because you can actually export through your search table through the application tracker, the case tracker, the permit library. If you're exporting anything, you'll need to come to your export library in order to pick up that Excel spreadsheet. So you can see here on this date, via the case tracker, I, of course, exported my Excel spreadsheet. It is ready, so if something was still going to take a few minutes to export, you can see the status there was still downloading all that information. Other than that, I can select on the export the Excel spreadsheet. So just selecting it and opening that up now. Now, of course, it is not the prettiest looking Excel spreadsheet, but of course it is saving you from copying and pasting or typing in all of that information. So whenever you see the hashtags here, it just means we actually need to just drag that column out a little bit further. By all means, now this is completely editable, so you can go through, you can make your titles look a bit prettier here, and then saving that onto your own computer files. Some fields, unfortunately, are unable to export, and that's when you'll get this little message here, unable to export. That's just because the data within that field is too large and it would actually fail the export of the Excel spreadsheet. So instead of removing that entire functionality, we've just put this sort of interim step in here, unable to export that particular field. Sometimes with the vehicle diagrams as well, we're unable to export that particular field. But as you can see there, really, really handy if you are somebody who needs to run reports for the business, or if you need to provide information on a number of different cases to your boss or to somebody who doesn't have access to the portal. By all means, you can complete this functionality from any search table and you can have it in an Excel spreadsheet. I'm just going to exit out of that now and return back to the case tracker. So just as a bit of a recap before we move on, the search table functionality is completely customizable. You can create new preset tabs. You can use the existing tabs that the system has created to assist you as the customer. And by all means, you can also update the columns in your search table just by selecting change columns, and of course selecting or deselecting or reordering those columns, getting rid of some, making some wider or shorter, applying that, applying filters across the top in order to locate specific groups of data, or maybe you just need to locate one specific case, but you also have that ability to export into an Excel spreadsheet.